So, hello, a very warm welcome to the VAR show, the show which talks a lot of its major football leagues in detail. Today, we are going to connect team of interviews, and we have former Premier League referee and also someone who has a lot of experience, not only being a referee but also in personal life. Like he has undergone many personal fights that he has undertaken, especially beating cancer, and like that's a very strong part. And on top of that, an established referee whom we'll talk about in the show, because we are a football show, we'll talk more of football maybe than of general life. And we have Mr. Mark Halsey with us. So without wasting more time, I would like to first thank Mark for coming on the show. Thank you, Mark, and welcome to the show. And I would like to begin by asking you, how are you and what have you been doing these days?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Hope you're all well, and the pandemic's not too serious out where you are. Obviously, it's the world over is not a good place at present, but we've got to be happy. We've got to keep smiling and be friendly and polite to each other. It's at present, I'm obviously I'd like to. I'm helping some referees. I'd like to be involved at a big level. I've been around the world coaching referees, Colombia, Peru, United States. I obviously work in the media. Do a newspaper column. Do a bit of work with BN Sports, Richard Keys and Andy Gray, and Talk Sport radio station here. Do many podcasts for people, interviews like I'm doing with yourself. So yeah, I think enjoying life at the moment. Would like to be involved a bit more in, as I said, coaching referees. I know I can deliver top class performances to wherever I go in coaching referees. So I've still got a passion for that. But listen, what I'm doing at the present, I'm enjoying and just enjoy what I do.
Definitely, and I can definitely see that you have been involved in a lot of interviews. I think with the Hammers TV, I think recently, and I think with Andy Campbell show, I think in this coming week. So yeah, those are the few things where I saw, and probably like in the Hammers, I think the Hammers TV, the it was you discussed the red card. So at least this show won't be that you don't have to say anything controversial as such compared to maybe
No,
the
no,
red
no, no.
card.
Okay. I'm not,
So,
I'm not governed by anybody anymore. I'm a freedom of speech.
definitely, it's freedom of speech, but like you just keep it. We just keep it more centered about you and maybe your perspective without
Yeah.
talking about someone else. Like 1 hour or whatever time we have, it's too precious to maybe talk about someone else when you are there. Like
Oh, I know. There's no problem. That's listen. It's all about opinions, isn't it? And so talk about different aspects of life, different aspects of refereeing, and you're always going to talk about other referees, but I always give it from my own experience. I can't, talk about other referees. I can explain perhaps why they give perhaps controversial decisions and why they come to that decision. But being involved in those sort of instances, you can only speak about yourself.
definitely. So okay, so I have a list of questions, but I may jumble it up according to how the flow of the conversation goes. I don't want to be like rigid with the questions. And like you spoke of the referees, and two major have been there have been two major referees who have been under the spotlight for the past maybe 1 month or so, and maybe for rightly so, for right reasons. How do they bounce back from this? How difficult is it to bounce back from this, what has happened?
Well, I mean, listen. Yeah, I mean, what goes on? I know, what's happened to Mike Dean in the last weeks is despicable, and I've been through that situation as well. Horrific things towards me and my family. Um, it's tough as a referee when you make the top level. You've got to be mentally tough, mentally strong, and listen. You know what you're signing up for. You're going to get abuse. You're going to get abuse from the crowd. You know that, that goes with the territory. But what we don't expect, or we shouldn't be getting, is what we self received, and what obviously Mike Dean has received in the last few days, and it's difficult to. When it involves you and you make an error and you get that abuse, it hurts. It hurts you in the stomach. And the best referees, the top referees, they look at them. They look at their mistakes, and they really study them. And you're looking at it and you're thinking, how have I got that wrong? How on earth have I got that wrong? And so you look at your positioning, you look at your fitness, you look at the anticipation of play, you look at about your awareness, what's going on around you, and you look at all those things, and then and then you look at it, you study it, you think, right, yeah, that's it. That's why I made that mistake, because I didn't get myself into a better position. So I'm looking at my fitness and I'm looking at my anticipation of play, so reading of the game. And then you say, right, that's it, and I can't make that mistake again. So you make sure you don't make that mistake again. But the best thing about, the top referees, they'll analyse it, take it all in, learn from it, and park it and move on. If you don't park it and move on, then it does affect your confidence. Everything we do in every walk of life is about confidence. Playing football, in your role, interviewing, it's all about being confident in what you're going to say to the person you're interviewing. So whatever you're doing, it's all about confidence. It's no different to referees, no different at all. And that first 5 minutes when you go out, listen, I was always nervous, always very nervous. And that first 5 minutes, you get a couple of decisions right, whether it be a small decision or it be a big decision, your stature grows, the confidence grows, the players' trust in you grows. Although they, with myself, the players like me anyway, and I had that trust anyway. But when you're new to it, you just got to get yourself up and you're running. Make a mistake in the first 5 minutes, and it is on your mind. It is on your mind. So you've got to be positive, stay fully focused, and carry on. But when it then, when it then brings your family into it, then that's another different side of it. That's that is all your emotions come out, your feelings, your mental health, because of what they're going to do to you and what they're going to do to your family. I'm not sure what Mike has received. I did send him a message and wishing him all the best, and that we were thinking of him, because I've been through that and I know exactly what I got, through the post and other on social media, which was I couldn't say on this show because it was absolutely horrific what they wanted to do to my young daughter.
And that's quite sad. But do you think that anything will be done about it, or is it something okay with time will go?
Well, it's the way of the world at the moment, is it? These keyboard warriors, and and also the racism we've got in our society, and until these social platforms, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, start taking responsibility and taking action on these account holders, and then obviously then letting the police get involved, giving their account details, and so they can take action. And it's a disease, and it won't go away until we start taking, or the police start taking, the strongest of actions. Now, when I received all this abuse, I took the screenshots down. I screenshotted them, photographed them, and obviously the police come round, and then went to Twitter. Twitter wouldn't give them any information. So what hope have we got? So we need this legislation to come in where they're responsible. Find if they're not going to do anything about it, find the social media platforms and then hand stiff penalties as a deterrent. Whether it's a jail term, whether it be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 a year, 6 months to a year, then so be it. They've got to learn. There's no room for racism or abuse and threats in our society via social media.
Definitely, I'm finding a way to put this out correctly. I'm not trying to say one is better than the other, one should be dealt more. But recently, I think Ian Wright also underwent the same thing, and but probably the offender was let go without without any charges, basically. And Ian voiced his opinion about how it was not appropriate, like maybe just for an example for others, it should a punishment should have been done. And Ian is like you have a lot of, because he's a player, he's a known player, a lot of he will have a lot of backing from the fans, or that would be a big case. Whereas Mike, probably being a referee, does not get the same limelight what Ian does. So do you think, like, if Ian
Well,
is not getting the justice, do you think Mike will ever get the justice?
yeah, listen, I absolutely, because obviously I know the Merseyside police are on it now, and I really do hope that they bring these people to book and they give them the punishment they deserve. Yeah, listen, the thing that hurts, I think, is that, when I was an active referee, I wasn't on social media. It wasn't until I retired that then I went on to social media, and then you still get the insults and abusers, because when people ask me about my opinion on the decision, I give it honestly, and then obviously there's going to be a few people come back, with nasty comments, and you just got to be polite back to them and just say, I respect your opinion. Please stay safe, and that's it. Everyone's entitled to opinion in the right way, in a constructive way, not in an abusive way. So I'd like to think that the police will catch these, and the correct action will be taken against them. The problem is, I think, with these, what I've been seeing, people have been, on social media with myself, is when I put it out there about it was despicable what had happened to Mike. They also, he's a poor referee anyway. He's a poor referee. He doesn't deserve that, but he's still a bad referee. And I'm thinking, these people will try it, because Mike Dean has refereed over 500 games, very experienced referee, and a good referee. And nobody deserves that, especially, as I say, especially his family. We can put up with it. We can put up with it, but when it involves your family, I'm sorry, that's another level that needs dealing with by the authorities.
Definitely, and I can vouch for the fact that what a difficult job being a referee is. I have refereed once, I have been a referee once, not professionally. It was like I had organized a tournament for, and then the referee showed up late, so I had to go on some, because I was the organizer. I had to go because the teams, it was not feasible logistically to continue the tournament if I did not go. It is difficult.
It is,
Although
isn't it?
it is like even a small thing like, okay, it is a foul, and it plays on your mind, and you can't have that playing on your mind because you have to continuously move on to the next one.
Yeah, I know.
It is
I mean, it's the
difficult.
same when I used to, when I was on the list, and I used to train at Bolton Wanderers under, when players like Kevin Nolan were there, and UC Askelainen, and all the players, and used to referee the 11v11s or the 8v8s, and oh Jesus, see, I used to get right. We used to be friends, and like I'd do the training games, and they'd give me a right load of abuse, and they were no different on a training pitch to what they are on a football pitch, a proper game. So that's just it's the shop floor, and you have to accept that, and you get on with it as long as you give as good as you get.
Definitely, and more than the abuse, I think it's just like you want to give the correct decision every time. Like you don't want to be wrong, and I think that plays on your mind if you have a doubt, okay, or if you second guess yourself, okay, do you going forward? So you can't do that in being a referee.
No, listen, honestly, when the games are going on, and you have a big key match incident, and you have a penalty, or you have a red card, and for the next few minutes, it's in your mind. You're thinking, "Oh, I've got that right. I hope I've got that right." I'd love to have had VAR when I was refereeing. I wouldn't have made an error, would I? But no, it does. You do think about it, but you've got to bang, you give it, and you've got to get on with it and believe that you have made the correct decision. You soon know if you've made the incorrect decision when you come for half time or full time. Down the tunnel, because they've all got the TV monitors, everything. Get it beamed live straight away, so they can see. As the game's going on, people on the dugouts can see what's going on, or up in the stands in the director's box, they can see exactly what's going on. So it's just you go out, you referee what's in front of you, and you do it to the best of your ability.
Definitely. And I have like two segue questions from what we have spoken already. One was like about the VAR, and one was about when you said like at that level, referee has to be mentally very, very strong. No one is mentally strong. How do you get there? Like you have to start somewhere and you build up your mental strength. How do
Yeah,
you
I
get
think.
there?
I mean, obviously, I can only speak for myself. I suppose, really, before in my early days, I played non-league football as a goalkeeper for many years, and then I turned from playing into becoming a referee. I was a goalkeeper, and they say you've got to be crazy to be a goalkeeper, and then even worse to become a referee, and I've done both. So I think in my early days, when when I worked in a warehouse, in a factory, I was worked my way up to a manager, and I think mine came with my management side, because I believe it's about managing the game, managing the players, managing the event, managing the whole thing, and I think managing people on the shop floor help me, give me that strength, you know, and how to deal with people, you know, how to deal with it. And I think this day, and I think that's stood me in good stead, working my way out from the shop floor all the way up to management level. And unfortunately, I don't think that we don't see that these days. You know, they I mean, they come straight. I mean, they don't get that sort of that mental toughness, that mental. I think the mental toughness, the mental strength is natural, and I think at present we've got too many robotic referees manufactured and not with natural ability. I mean, look at Michael Oliver. He's our best referee by far. By far our best referee. He's natural. He's got natural ability. He interacts with the players. He engages with the players. You know, he can have a laugh. He can have a joke, like I did. I used to, you know, for me, you can laugh with the players. You can joke with the players. But when you've got that, when you have that opportunity to stamp your authority on the game, you've got to do it. You have to do it. And that doesn't mean to say you need to do it with a yellow card. You can do it verbally with a player. And the thing for me is as well is that referees go out onto the field of play and command respect straight away. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. You only get respect from players with your accuracy in your decision making. When when as a new referee, they all know you're a new referee. You have to get your reputation and as a safe referee and a referee that the players can trust. That's what it's all about at the top level. It's the same. Actually, it's the same all the way through on it, on whether it's in non-league. And as I say, it's your accuracy in your decision making, detecting, you know, a foul, non-foul, picking it up, awareness of what's going on around you, the little niggles that you're picking up, so players don't take the law into their own hands, because that's what happens. You don't pick up the little niggles, what's going on behind you, then things can get out of control. So it's all those sort of things, and engaging with the players and speaking to them as that goes. Hey, I've seen that. Get on, keep the game going. I've seen that. You two, cut it out. So you know, if you ask all the people that work with me, they would tell you I give them a headache because I never stop talking. You know, never stop talking to the players all the time, engaged with the players, trying to get them on my side. And it worked for me. It worked for me. You know, people say to me, I was natural. I was one of the most naturally gifted referees that was on the Premier League, and for me that was a compliment, and that's how I used to go into all my games. But that's how you, and you know, that's how we should be refereeing now. Unfortunately, we're not. That's not the case, because you know, you've got on the Premier League, you've got it's like the Premier League table. You've got a league within a league. You've got 3 leagues. That's no different to referees. You've got your top order batsman, you've got your middle order batsman, you've got your lower order batsman, and that's no different with the Premier League. So you've got the guys you can trust, and you can see the guys they trust because they do all the games all the time, the same games. And you've got the middle order that are doing the middle order games, and you've got the lower order guys that are doing the lower order. They don't get as many games as the others. So as I say, it comes from leadership and direction. I still believe. I mean, listen, there's many of us. There's few of me that should be in control. The reason. I mean, as I said before, and I'll say it again. You know, when I played football, good coaches turned average players into good players into excellent players. That's no different to referee coaches. And I think that's the difference at the moment. We haven't got the quality in coaches to teach our referees at the top. And it goes from grassroots all the way up. So, you know, it's like an academy. You know, the academy are doing exactly the same as the first team. Exactly the same. You know, where they play their football, where they set up their fitness levels, their training, the fitness training. That should be no different from grassroots football refereeing right up to the top. You know, so you've got the top guys at the elite level, Premier League, Football League, doing different fitness tests to referees at non-league level. You know, the conference and say the National League and the National League North and South and below that, they all do different fitness tests. Well, what they should all be doing is the same fitness test. So when they get to that top level, it comes easy for them. So we should be doing exactly the same all the way through, and we're not. But listen, you know, as I say, we have got some very good referees in the Premier League. I just think they're not being the leadership's not what it should be. in the direction. But listen, hopefully one day it'll sort itself out. VAR. You you asked me a question about VAR, wasn't
No,
it?
no, yeah, I'll get back. I'll get to that. Like with mental thing, I wanted to ask you one more stuff. Like like recent example is not of a referee, but Jurgen lost his mother unfortunately, and it was in January 19th. If what I have read on Twitter, I don't know the verification, but on Twitter, many of them and had said that even in multiple sources, and he was scrutinized all the way wherever he lost games. Like okay, he's rattled or whatever. Like you had pundits saying this and that, so there's something which we do not know is happening behind, and it may be the same similar stuff for any referee who is going out. Like he might have a personal life where it's not going right. How do you not bring it onto the field? Because even if you don't want, sometimes like it will be there.
It is. It's difficult. I mean, for me, when I crossed that white line, that was it. That was it. Nothing. If I had problems, I wouldn't take them onto the field of play. I think only once did I take something onto the field of play was when it was FA Cup tie at Hartlepool v Stoke City, third round game. My wife had just been diagnosed with leukemia, and I think it was just a few days out. Now it was touch and go whether I'd done the game, whether I come off or I didn't. But I went and done the game, and it was funny because the game was okay. I mean, the game was going okay. I sort of shut myself off from it, but then all of a sudden, I think it was halfway through the second half, something happened. The ball went out for a throw, and I was just near the touchline, and these fans shouting a load of abuse at me, and I just looked at them, and I thought, do you know what? If you only knew what was going on in my personal life, you wouldn't be shouting like that. And so I mean, I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for other people. But I think that was the only time where something during the game that made me just stop and think and switch off for a minute. Because when you referee in big games, you just cannot switch off. If you switch off, then you will make a big mistake. So, but generally, once I crossed that white line, I forgot about everything else. I was focused. You have to be fully focused and aware of what is going on around you in the biggest league in the world. As I said, if you don't, then you'll be digging a hole for yourself.
And was it something that was natural to you, or did you train yourself to be like that?
No, I think once again, I think I'm quite a hard person, really. In that way. Um, I was up until I got cancer, but yeah, I think for me, it just come natural to me. I was just naturally strong, I was naturally tough in my decision making, and sort of even when I made mistakes, like even when I made an error, I did make a few, not over my career from 1996 to 2013. I didn't make a lot, but honestly I did make some. I mean, there's no doubt about that. We're all human, and I sort of just, as I said before, I sort of thought about it, looked at it, parked it, and it bothered me for a couple of days. Absolutely, over the weekend, Saturday night, Sunday, when all the highlights were on, I made sure I didn't watch them if I made an error. And then and that's it. Come Monday, you sort of start getting back to normal and looking forward to the following weekend. Because as soon as you've had, as a referee has had an indifferent performance, you want to get straight back out there again. You want to get straight back out there and perform and show. Listen, Mark Halsey is a good referee, and away we go.
Definitely, definitely. So, and that was the mental part. And I wanted to ask, like, before we go on to VAR, physically, what was the routine like? Like if you had to describe to be physically fit to.
Listen, obviously it was fantastic that we went full time. That was great with the Premier League and the PGL for giving me the chance to be a full time official, because I thoroughly enjoyed all my years. I mean, obviously we had a heart rate monitor. We had to train, obviously during the week. We were given sessions to do. I mean, I was lucky enough because I trained at Bolton and done all their physical sessions. So And you have to you get your weekly routine or your daily routine. Me was if I had a game on a Saturday and Sunday, or Saturday or Sunday, I'd use Monday to warm down. If I had a game Saturday, Sunday I'd just rest. Monday I would warm down, sort of stretching a few weights. Tuesday I would do a high intensity session, a very high intensity session. Wednesday I would have a day off. Thursday I would do a short speed session with weights, again in the gym. Same little speed session on a Friday morning, or do a bike, say a little bike session, get all the lactic acid out of my legs, ready for Saturday or Sunday. And I just used to do the same all the time. So I always found it worked for me.
So was this something
And obviously,
monitored?
all the work we done. Obviously, we had to download that to our sports scientist to make sure we were putting in the training.
So no, what my question was, like, was it monitored by PGML, or was it something of your own actions and what you wanted to do?
Oh no. The obviously the sports scientists would give us training programs for that week. As I say, high intensity running, and obviously I used to do mine I always used to like to do mine a heavy early week, and then sort of slow down, ready for getting my body ready in shape for the game on Saturday, for the weekend, Saturday or Sunday, whether I review Saturday or Sunday.
So was this what you said, like the plan? Was it something towards the 2000s, or to 2010s, or even it was from when you started? It was similar.
No, it's always the same. So obviously you always got the same. You got obviously you had to get your heart rate up, but it was different. You used to do different high intensity running. It was different things that got your heart rate getting right up there. So we used to do different runs, not to make it exercises, to make it too boring, to make it interesting. So as long as you got that, as long as you done that, it was tough. It was tough, and obviously when we used to get together. We got together every 2 weeks as a group for a couple of days, and we always used to do their training then, and we always used to most probably incorporate a yo-yo test into that, which was tough as well. So especially when you're at my age, when I was refereeing.
No, the reason I asked you this is, probably we cannot conduct a webinar for maybe the Nepalese referees. I think this may be helpful, like these small nuggets, like what they should do, or like what
Yeah.
is good enough for them. Okay, so we'll move on to maybe more controversial, that is VAR. What do you think of it? What is your opinion on it?
Well, listen, it's for me. VAR is good. Is good for me. It's good for the game, and I think it's here to stay. Now, I would have loved it when I was refereeing, as I say, just before when I retired, it then came in. So I would have liked it. I think minimum interference, maximum benefit. That's what VAR is all about. Clear and obvious error by the on-field officials, or a serious incident missed. Now, we're not seeing that in the EPL. We're seeing them getting involved in every sort of little thing, and that needs to change. And it comes down to the training and education of our officials. I believe there's too great a workload on our active officials now. I really do. I think the time has come now where we have active officials and we have retired officials doing VAR, because what you see is you look at Kevin Friend on Sunday. Okay, Kevin Friend on Sunday refereed Sheffield United Chelsea in the FA Cup. Monday, he was in Stockley Park, VAR official. You become mentally fatigued, and I know from watching, because I have to watch all the games. I watch all the games because from my media contacts. I'm sitting there watching the telly, and after you have to walk away, and so you can imagine. And if you look at these guys, some of the VAR officials, if they do the 12:30 game, then they stay there and do the later game at 5:30 or 8 o'clock, whenever they are. So for me, it's tough. It's very tough for them, and I think that with VAR, it's the training, education, and also the caliber of official. what they're like on field. If they're if they're average or they're below average, they're in that bottom quarter of the bottom of the batting, the middle order, bottom order batsman, and then they're going to sit in the VAR. You're going to get exactly the same performance. I mean, listen, I think it's tough for them. I don't blame the guys, because I think they're over. The work overload is too great for that level. And as I said, I think we have active officials and we have retired officials doing the VAR. I really do.
So again, I think that for me personally, two personal questions comes out from that. Is it like, since like you said, like Kevin Friend was involved in two successive days, maybe beat multiple roles, different capacities, but it has almost the same effect. Like maybe first day physically and mentally, second day at least mentally, he had to be there for the full 90 minutes minimum. Like without extra time. That is. So does that mean that there is less quality of maybe good referees, so PGMOL is not do not have the confidence in maybe lower league referees to come over?
No, we haven't at the present, as we touched on before. It's the training, education, and the quality of the coaching at that level all the way through. And we have at this moment, I think we do have a lack of quality in our match officials at the top level. And that, as I said, that comes down to the training and education and the way and the leadership and direction of what way you want the referees to go. I mean, if you look at, I look at referees at the moment, and I mean, if I was in charge, it would be totally different. My leadership and direction, because my leadership and direction skills are different to, let's say, Mike Riley, who's in charge of the PGMO at present. So I would be totally different to what Mike is. Mike likes to control everything. That's his way is managing. Me, I'm a man manager. Some referees are like players. Some players need a kick up the backside. Some players need a lot of loving and an arm around them, and that's no different to referees. No different at all. So it's how you treat those guys. It's the same how you treat the players on the pitch, how you talk to the players on the pitch, how you engage with them. And I see far too many referees at present that are too aggressive with the players. They're too aggressive. And as soon as a challenge goes in, a careless challenge, a yellow card comes out. That's not what it's all about. We're a football family. It's about working together. Yes, manage the game. Yes, there are instances where you can't manage, and you have to do that, and players respect that when you do the right thing. So, and remember as well, the referee, the officials are driving themselves all over the place. They're driving all over the place. So Kevin Friend would have driven up to Sheffield, lives in Leicester, driven back to Leicester after the game, got up the next morning, and then would have driven all the way from Leicester all the way down to London to be a VAR official. So it's a heavy workload on the guys, and it can impact on your performance.
Definitely. And do you think, like, one more, at least what I could make out is like, I wanted to ask you, is the finances of being a referee good enough? Maybe that if that is sorted out, or that is made lucrative, maybe you'll have more people interested, and maybe the quality will rise.
Listen, I think they're financially rewarded very well. I think it could be more, to be honest. I think the PGMO have a budget of 21 million per season. So that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So listen, I don't think that's a question. I think they get well paid at present. Obviously, they get a salary. They get a salary on top of their salary. Get all their match fees. They get all their expenses. And when they come to retire, when I wasn't there, they've now got a good exit package. So I think, and they've got a pension as well. We didn't have a pension when I was there. When I retired in 2013-14, that's when they brought in the pension. So listen, it is a good career for anyone that wants to take up refereeing. It can become a good career if you've got the natural ability, or you've got the determination. And the attitude to do that, and as I say, we do need more referees to take up the whistle, because without referees, we ain't got a game. and we do really struggle at grassroots level for referees. And
Definitely.
that's because I think, we've seen the instance with Mike Dean. I think, if you think the abuse that myself and Mike Dean has received, remember at the top level, they're looked after. There's no problem. We're looked after when we get that abuse, or you have security looking after you. You have all sorts looking after you at the top. But these poor guys down at the grassroots, they've got nothing, and we're seeing more and more and more assaults on referees at grassroots level. So, as I say, I spoke about it before, something has to change.
Definitely. And like, I wanted to ask you, like, I don't know that you have been following, but the Indian Super League, but there's a lot of controversy on the referees and the mistakes that they have been doing, and maybe rightly so, because they don't have the maybe the technology at their disposal what maybe the other leagues have, like maybe something like goal line or maybe something like VAR. But nonetheless, they should not be making that many mistakes. At least what the general concept is. And do you
Yeah,
think?
listen, listen. I mean, obviously, it's new, and the referees are learning all the time. Listen, I never stop learning. After every game, you never stop learning, and I'd love the opportunity to go out there and I know I could, turn, make the referees better. I could turn their FIFA referees into refereeing in tournaments. I would look at the grassroots all the way up, because you've got to look at succession planning for when the top guys go. Who's coming up behind to fill their shoes. So it's all about, I've seen managers and on social media having a dig at Indian referees. That's not the way to go. I mean, what needs to be happening is someone that's in charge of them referees, and you need to come together. You need to be speaking to the clubs. You need to be working as a manager of referees. If I was a manager of referees in India, I would be speaking to the managers. I'll be speaking to the coaches. I'll be engaging with them. If they perceived a referee had an indifferent performance on a game, I would ring the manager up. I would speak to him. I would go in and see him. I would go through the DVD. We may agree to disagree. I may agree with him. One of my referees had made an error. It's all about that. Be that accountability, and you need that when you're refereeing in you've got your top league in India, the ISL. Everybody's watching it. I mean, I watched a game the other day, and I was quite impressed with the standard, and I'm looking at watching the referee. I had a few pointers for him. Watching the game, I picked up some technicalities of the referee that would just improve his performance. Although there wasn't a problem in the game, but there were one or two issues that he could have done better that would improve his standing with the players. The way he dealt with them, the way he spoke to them, and his anticipation of play and his positioning and watching different things materialise. So, I was quite impressed with the game, and I thought the referee had a good game. But to be fair, the players made it easy for him, but you can only referee what's in front of you.
And definitely, if some big name like Robbie Fowler makes a statement and he's seen across the world, so probably there's more pressure on referees.
Well, absolutely. Don't worry, I did get a text from him.
So I wanted to ask you, like, like staying with the same thing, like of Indian Super League, you have like Indian players whom you will not expect maybe to go and play in the best team in the world because they are not maybe good enough, at least as of now. Similarly, you can't expect the referees to be the best in the world. Like even they are
No,
learning as they grow. Like
absolutely.
they don't have games to referee. How will they improve? At least that was my point of view.
Yeah, listen. When you got the Indian Super League, it's getting that high profile now, just like the Indian Premier League in the cricket. Look at the profile that's got. I mean, I love watching it. I think it's fantastic. I watch it all the time. I love me cricket, and it's great that England won the first Test. That was brilliant. Yeah, I was watching it all the time. Here, I've got it. Get it on live. But because I love me cricket too. But like I say, it's about that them players are full. The referees in India at the moment, they've got full-time jobs. They've got families to look after. So they've got to work. It's difficult for them to go and referee because I'm not sure what they get paid in the ISL. I'm not sure what their structure is there, but obviously it's not full time, and obviously they've got full-time employment back wherever they live. So it's about setting up a structure where, looking at the finances, can we make the Indian Super League referees professional? Be great to have professional referees, because then I could, you could have them. It's like having players. It's like having a squad. And so you've got them all the time. You've got them working. You bring in all your protocols. You bring in all the your fitness and your heart rate monitors and all their training datas. The body fats. Everything about professional football then comes into the same as refereeing comes along with that as well. So it's something that it's for the future. And listen, I would love to be involved in that. I'd love to be a part of that. And I know that I would make a massive difference to the refereeing world in India. I know that for a fact. It's like everything else. You have. It's like a manager. When a club sacks a manager, they all go. Then they bring in a new team. I would bring in a little small team of 2 or 3 people that could put Indian referees on the map. No doubt. I've got no doubt that. I would love to have the chance. So you never know, do you? You never know.
Yeah,
You can plug me, can't you?
Yeah, I will do that. And probably you have a better source. You have Robbie. Maybe like suggest your name.
But that's the thing is, I've been there. I know it. I've been there. I've been a top referee, top FIFA referee, top referee for 20 years. I know everything about refereeing, and that's just been my life. Football's been my life as a player, and then as a referee.
Definitely. And another aspect, like I mentioned earlier, when we started when we began this interview, was like you fought and won against cancer, and you came back and you were a referee. How was that full journey? Because it's not easy. Like, let alone come back to referee. You battled cancer and you won, fortunately, and you have to have a very strong mental side to come back to the game, because it's not like you're just going to your daily job. You have to come and maintain certain amount of fitness, which probably would have lost during your
Yeah.
treatment. How do you get back, and how was the journey?
Oh, there was many tough days, my friend. Many tears, many tears, because January 2009, my wife was diagnosed with chronic myeloid leukemia. Treatable, but not curable. So that was tough. That was really tough, because we had a young daughter at the time, Lucy. I think she was about 3 or 4 years old at the time. And then August 2009, I was diagnosed. I was diagnosed with cancer, throat cancer. So it was very tough, very tough. I always remember going out. I remember being diagnosed on the Thursday before the start of the season, that 2009-10 season, and I was refereeing at Everton Arsenal live on TV, and I had to decide whether, because I've been diagnosed with throat cancer, and I had to go in on the Monday to have the tumor removed, and I was really struggling. I didn't look well. I felt ill, and I didn't think I'd ever referee again. So I spoke to the management, and they left it up to me, and I decided to do the game. And lucky, I shouldn't have done it. Lucky for me, nothing. There was no controversial incidents. I struggled through the game. I didn't tell anybody. Only my assistants knew what was wrong with me. And but to be fair, they carried me through. And I said to them, guys, I need your help, because we meet in a hotel before kick-off 4 hours. And I said, guys, listen, I've got cancer. I need your help today. They said, because we always have the same assistants, and they said, tax, because I always used to call taxi, because I gave my job up and become a taxi driver. So in the early days, I could fulfil my dream of perhaps becoming a top referee. And they said, you need our help today, tax. I said, we're always helping you, pulling you out the mire. So what's going to be different from today? So that sort of relaxed it, and we got on. So so obviously after that game, I knew on Monday I'd be in private hospital having my tumor removed. So I always remember waking up with my wife by my side, and the doctor was there and said, when my wife was crying, and I said, what's the matter? She said, oh, it was not good news. I went, what's the matter? She said, it's worse than they first thought. And I thought, oh, Jesus. And I said, when he came to see me, the first thing I said, am I going to die? And he said, not if we can help it. So I had the operation on the Monday, went to see him again on the Friday. I saw him on the Friday, and the tumour had come back after, so I thought, oh, Jesus, here we go. So I ended up with my wife, rang the Christie Hospital in Manchester, fantastic hospital, cancer hospital, brilliant hospital. And then I went to see a chap called Tim Illich, and we become really good friends. He's a big Evertonian, massive Everton fan, and he knew who I was. And I went to see him, and he just said to me, because I had to go in the next day and I had to start my chemotherapy straight away. And after that, I had me bouts of chemotherapy for the next 12 weeks. And then had to have 21 days radiotherapy. And he's just said to me, I said, well, I'll referee again. And he said, well, we've got a battle to save you. He said, but that work is, if we do that, then you will never, ever, ever referee at the top level. You'll never referee again, because obviously the chemo and the radio, the drugs they put into you, because it affects your organs as well, the poison. It's especially poison they're putting into your body. And I lost everything. I lost my hair. I was bald as a coot all over. But so that was devastating. But I used that as an inspiration to hopefully come back. And I say, right, I said to myself, right, I'm going to prove all these wrong. I'm going to prove these wrong. And we had a mummy and a daddy that were fighting for their lives, and obviously you had a little girl that wanted to play with you all the time. So that was difficult. But it was some tough times. Once I got had all the treatments, and then the following year in January, he said, when I was told I was in remission, it worked. That's when the hard work began. It was very, very tough. It was I was trying to train. Even when I was having my chemo, I'd go to Bolton Wanderers and just try and walk on the treadmill or do something. When I felt, because when you had your chemotherapy, it would put you down. You'd have your chemo and you were ill for about 3 or 4 days, and then you'd start coming back round and then coming up that hill again and getting up to the top of the hill, and you were feeling okay. And then you'd go back and have another bout of chemo, and then you'd go back down the hill again, and you'd level out, and you'd come back up it again. So when I started feeling okay, on the 6th or 7th day, I then went and tried to. He said, my Professor Timney said, if you can do some cardiovascular work while you're undergoing treatment, you've got a better chance of survival. So I tried. I think I'd done 30 seconds and I just died. I just couldn't do it. I remember coming back after a few months, training hard, doing a fitness test, failed miserably, couldn't pass my fitness test. So I remember just, we all had a get together, and I'd done a fitness test and I failed miserably. And I just sat on the steps in tears, just got in my car, because we had a 2-day meeting. I just got in my car and drove home. And the only person I rang was Tim Illich, my professor. And I said to him, I've just failed my fitness test. And he said, what have I told you? What have I told you? You're coming back too early. Your body can't take all this. You just take your time, take it easy, forget it. I just felt under pressure that I had to come back, because you remember, the PGML have never had a referee that's had cancer, or who's come back from cancer and got back to the top flight to referee. But eventually, it got better. I got better and better, and passed the fitness test. And I got a lot of people to thank for helping me through that. But then, I think I had another. I wasn't sure how many seasons I was going to have, but I think after another 3 years getting back into refereeing, I think it took its toll on my body. The work I had to put in, the hard work, hard graft, the physical training side of it. Sort of just, my body just started to shut down, saying, "Mark, no more," because I put it through such vigorous training regimes. I don't think anybody could believe what, seeing me the way I trained after I'd come back from all my treatments. It was tough, very, very tough. But I got there, and it was I had an extra fantastic 3 more seasons refereeing in the top league in the world, thanks to Tim Millage and the Christie Hospital. Nothing but admiration for the work these guys do. It's fantastic. So here I am talking to you.
Definitely. So it was not like you didn't want to like maybe referee for 10 years. It was just the idea of coming back. Even if it was for one game, you wanted to come back at the highest level.
Yeah, listen. Yeah, I honestly thought that Everton Arsenal game was my last. When you hear that word cancer, you know what everyone. I know exactly what I know when you've been through it. You know what people think, and as soon as you hear that word cancer, everybody knows. Oh, am I going to die? I think everybody, if someone said they didn't think that, I think I would say they were lying, because that's what goes through your mind straight away, and that's what he did with me, I have to say. And he must have been looking up, smiling down on me from up top, because obviously he didn't decide it was my time to go, and I'm one of the lucky ones, and my wife is as well, who's still, she's still battling. She's in remission now, so we've got to keep fingers crossed that leukemia doesn't, as I say, it's treatable. So at the moment, she's doing fine. So we just live for today and keep smiling.
Definitely, and I wish both of you all the good health, like for the upcoming future and for on whatever, like a lot of time. And I'll move back to football. Maybe like this is, I don't know, like it's something you should discuss, but you don't feel comfortable discussing. I don't know for what reason. I think even you, when you said like when you said you had cancer, and probably you knew what other people were thinking, like even if, so it's just, I think it's just the mentality of the society where like cancer is related to death, and probably no one wants to touch on it so much, because I don't know,
No,
it's just uncomfortable situation. Although it should be discussed more, probably will help a lot even for the people
it,
undergoing the
it
treatment.
it should, and unfortunately, at the moment with this pandemic, it's taken a back seat where people ain't receiving the treatment they should be receiving, and that is not right. People are listen. People are thousands and thousands of people have lost their life through this pandemic, and it's a tragedy, and their heart goes out to everybody. And it's the same with cancer. Cancer is a pandemic, is a disease, and not just cancer, everybody else that's suffering serious life-threatening illnesses. It's no different to the coronavirus, is it? And everybody needs that. Everybody needs that treatment. And unfortunately, it seems to have taken a back step, which, in my opinion, is not right. It's not wrong. If people are sick and it could cost their lives, then whether it be COVID, whether it be cancer, whether it be any other illness, they need treatment. They need to be seen to.
Definitely. And so we'll move back to football. I have last three questions before we wrap up. And do you have any one particular game in your mind which is always there for right or wrong reasons, something that has stuck on with you?
Yes, I mean, listen, as most probably some of your viewers and listeners and have seen me referee many times, and most probably thrown the kitchen sink at the television for decisions I've made. But listen, I've loved every minute. I love football. I'm passionate about football. I'm a football fan, big QPR fan, by the way. Come on, you R's boys from the bush, where my family are from. I say I love football. I'm passionate about what I do. I'm passionate about refereeing. I'm passionate about getting the best out of people, and that's what I'm good at. But I think, if out of all the games I've refereed, which I've refereed, as you know, some big games, I think there's one game. I mean, there's one game that always will stick in my mind. Remember going back to when I was first told I had cancer, and I most probably would never ever referee at the top level if I survived. And that game that always sticks in my mind, where I had all my family and friends and my former manager, Keith Hackett, who was fantastic, a fantastic general manager, was my first game back in the Premier League after my battle with cancer, and that was Wigan Blackpool, opening day of the season. Yeah, fantastic. The standing ovation I got was just immense. I mean, just the week before that, Everton, where I don't think it done me, I thought it'd be my last ever game, invited me back to referee a friendly at Goodison Park. It was Everton versus Everton of Chile, and there was 28,000 fans in the ground. And I walked out, and the ovation I got from the crowd was just, the assistants couldn't believe it. No one could believe it. They couldn't believe, the applause that I got was unbelievable. And when I finished at the end of the game, and then they all stayed behind, I was presented with a plaque by Everton Football Club. Great football club, great fans, people's club. They stood up and applauded again. It was really emotional, and I think I had that. I think I had that with the fans and the players, because I think I was one of those. I was a players referee that just let the game go on. I knew how to handle players. I knew how to talk to players. I knew how to get them on side. And the fans liked the way I referee, because I let the game flow. That's me. I just let, you know what I mean. So, and so I think that was the game that stood out for me above any other game. I've refereed cup finals at Wembley. That game for me stood out. My first game back refereeing in the Football League, that was Rotherham United and Port Vale. That was fantastic. But then, when I got that game back in the Premier League, game that I was told I would never do, and that was that sticks in my mind. That sticks in my mind forever. And going back to the Everton game, it was great because obviously my family were invited, and my little girl Lucy, because they have toffee girls at Everton. They go before the game. The girls go around throwing toffees into the crowd, and Lucy was a toffee girl, dressed up as a toffee girl, walking around lobbing sweets into the crowd, and she loved it. She absolutely loved it. And then my wife Michelle got on the act. She just as enjoyed it, throwing sweets into the crowd as well. So it was great. So if I look back at one game, obviously my first Premier League back after battling illness, and the friendly I've done with Everton at Goodison, fantastic. And wherever I went that season, I got a great round of applause from everybody. All the players I saw were very good to me. But once I blew that whistle, and they weren't happy with me, it all changed. And I wouldn't expect it any other way. I always used to remember, because I've got no saliva, because the radiotherapy killed all my saliva in my throat. I still have trouble now. And, sometimes during the games, after about 10, 15 minutes, I was so thirsty because my throat was so dry. And I used to, when players used to go down, do you want treatment? No, I'm okay, ref. And I used to say, well, bang, I used to give a kick up the backside. I said, well, you do now. I'll get the train on so I can have a drink. But no, it was great. So I had some great memories, some great times, and made some good friends, and some good friends. People say in football you make acquaintances, not friends. But I made a couple of good friends in football over the years, refereeing on at the top level.
Definitely. And so we'll move on to the second last question. That is, you are involved in punditry, like you said, like you keep an eye on almost all the games, and especially with you were involved. And how is that? How is punditry?
I like it. I mean, I say it as it is. I'm honest, and what you see is what you get. Exactly the same as when I refereed on the football pitch. They knew Mark Halsey was as honest as the day's long, and some people may not like me honesty, but as long as you put it across in a constructive manner. I think some of the guys don't mind. I mean, a lot of the guys don't like me. My ex-colleagues don't like what I say, but that's how you learn. At the moment, they don't have assessors at the game, so they just have an evaluation. So they have no one coming in to tell them. So, and I know what that evaluation system's like, and it's absolutely garbage. It's garbage. You need that human contact in the dressing room after the game with someone that knows about refereeing, and we haven't got that anymore. So, listen, I enjoy. I would much prefer to be involved somewhere, any part of the world. I'd go anywhere to coach and manage referees to make them better than what they are now. That's what I want to do. But as I say, I do enjoy my punditry. I do like, doing my columns, but I'd give all that up to be to go anywhere in the world and help referees.
Definitely, and hopefully, if everything goes right, we can have you address maybe referees in Nepal through maybe some online platform, maybe because you can't really travel now, and maybe come over sometime when the travel permits.
Listen. Listen. For traveling for work, you can travel anywhere, can't we? So I'll be on the plane tomorrow if you wanted me.
Definitely. So we'll wrap it up with one final question, and if you had to give a piece of advice to a young referee or who wants aspires to be referee, what would that be?
What would I say? What would I say? I would say, firstly, enjoy and smile. Be your own person. Go out there, referee with a smile on your face. Engage with the players. Engage. Talk with the players. Treat them with respect. If treat people how you wanted to be treated yourself. Go out there, enjoy, and engage with the players, and believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. You will have difficult days. We all have difficult days. Find that someone that you trust, that you can talk to, that you can give all your trouble. You can pass all your troubles on to, because you should. I mean, for me, you need to. You don't talk to too many people, because there are some people that would you know what I'm on about. Like to see you not do so well, so they could get on. So you pick one person that you trust, that you can talk to all the time. If you have an indifferent game, you can pick the phone up and talk to, but don't dwell on it. If you do have an indifferent game, just go out there and enjoy it and smile and engage with the players. Engage. That's vital. That's vital. And just have that awareness of what's going on around you, anticipate play, read the game, and engage with the players. And when you get that opportunity to stamp your authority on the game, do it. As I said before, it doesn't mean to say you have to do it with a card. You can do it verbally, because players will get to know if you're a weak referee. They will know. But
Definitely.
smile.
Definitely. And on that note, Mark, thank you so much for speaking to me. And I wish you all the best for all your endeavors and hope to see you sometime in India or Nepal, wherever you can come down. I don't know, but if everything
Well,
goes fine,
if I get an invitation, my friend,
yeah.
who knows?
Hopefully that happens soon, and hopefully Robbie puts your name, to the Indian refereeing committee, and so you can see
Yeah, I
you
don't know
there.
about that. I don't know about if Robbie does that, but I didn't upset him when he played for Liverpool and I refereed. So
So Mark. So thank you so much, and hope we can talk again soon. Until then, take care, stay safe. Bye.
yeah,
Thank
we
you once
know.
again.
And you, and stay safe, please, everyone out there. Please stay safe and be sensible. And you know where I am if you want me.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Take